I want the search to be is I want search to be a building block. Like a search query is kind of the fundamental unit, and it's something that you can describe a problem in terms of a search. You can say if you get a segmentation fault in Apache, 100 times in an hour. If that has a specific meaning to me, I want to be able to say that that is a unit and be able to describe that and say, I want to have this search to be able to run continuously, and I want to get an indication coming to me saying not, you got 500 segmentation faults in an hour. I want that to be able to say, your application is having a problem because of this. Because I already determined that that has some contextual meaning to me. What I also want is, I don't know everything, obviously. I like to tell you what I don't. I want to create a community around these search units. People that are experts in Apache, people that are experts in MySQL or Memcache or all these other things that we use that we use so many different pieces of architecture now that it's impossible to understand at a very complex level all these different pieces. So if there was somebody that was an Apache expert and knew what what a particular log message meant and in a particular context of other messages, what that could mean. So to be able to create these search units myself, ones that make sense in my application context, but then be able to pull in other things to be able to get sent, just to be able to be notified when these types of things happen.
I have a question. Do you feel like most people have framework issues, like they're getting seg faults in Apache, or that their application throws an error? Because I'm thinking about us, and we typically throw like application errors, and those are the ones that are most.
So at my particular company, we deal with both. We have 100 computers in our data center. We're usually breaking something at some point, all the time. And it's a lot of times it's our fault. Sometimes we've hit bugs that we had no idea what to do with that have been deep inside of a PHP module, or these types of things that we figured out by upgrading to the newer version or something like that. But we do both, and actually it started to get processed more in my mind as I was taking on building out a monitoring infrastructure to try and tie our system monitoring with our application monitoring. So to be able to have a centralized place that can gather all of these things, to be able to go to one place and have a search bar and say. Yes, it's very similar to Splunk, and that's. I think the search unit bit, the building out a community, I think is a differentiator. The other thing about Splunk is that it's absurdly expensive. We're not a small company and we couldn't afford it. So there is.
Why is it so expensive?
Because they're jackasses.
The market's
because it because
jackasses not making money.
Well, that's an option of so putting some intelligence around it, and like QA part, like why am I getting error 4009 from mod and stuff?
So Splunk is the big, and as far as I know, the only player in this area. We actually use Splunk right now, but we're using the free version that can only index a certain amount because we can't afford that 20 grand a year.
But Splunk doesn't have the social aspect. I like the sort of like, I need to pull some expert in to scope my log. That's not dirty. And I think that, so that's the differentiator, right? Is that you have a community around it.
If you guys are familiar with Puppet and Chef, that's kind of the inspiration I got. Was Chef is starting to build this community of recipes that people that have a domain specific expertise are able to add these cookbooks, and then other people can pull them down and get reviewed and that sort of thing.
Your community aspect gives you like badass SEO too, because anybody who has that issue, they're just gonna copy and paste that area in there. There's gonna be you'll have great content around it, and they'll just come to the site and be like, oh,
it's a bit like Stack Overflow. You see a lot of this.
Frameworks start including links to the actual URL. You can get details on this. Watch the community talk about this error that you just.
So it's like a regex to human error message map kind of. For the community.
So I'm wondering, is Splunk greedy, or is the service a lot more expensive to run than you think it is?
Pardon?
Is Splunk greedy, or is the service a lot more expensive to run than you think it is?
It's enterprisey. So you know, you put a certain premium on top of that. It seems like they're definitely attacking Fortune 500 companies. They're attacking people that have PCI compliance, regulatory compliance that they need to have a certain. So there's definitely an understanding, at least where I'm at right now, of this being an 80% solution. That would it's an 80% solution. It's a startup, a small company oriented solution that I think would be attacking a market that they seem to ignore.
You have a real stability problem though, because the first time it goes down publicly, no one uses it anymore.
Pardon?
You have a real stability problem though, because the first time it goes down publicly, like when your logging service goes down, you're screwed. And so,
yeah. Well,
it may be expensive because they have to keep it up all the time.
I'm not saying it's zero, but they have some features on top, some really intense reporting features.
There's some other application level, like this getexceptional.com, you know, guys who are more at the alerting kind of application stack, you know, they plug it, you know, they publish a Ruby on Rails module and help you kind of follow the web app errors up. So they're also in that space, but they're not at the, you know, they're not at the system attached level.
There's super, I mean, it seems like you could write some adapters that basically give you essentially metadata that you can put into Lucene and start indexing it. It doesn't seem more than like a weekend project to start effing around with that. So
I've been working on it for a few months. I do have something that works. It's not based on Lucene. It's Python based, but it's getting there. So I have something that works. In terms of scaling it up to a certain level, that's going to be the sticky wicket to see whether what I have right now that works on my one server actually scaled to 2 servers. Will work for 100 servers. Will work for.
So what do you need now to make this a reality?
I think the back end is something that I understand and is something that, as a sysadmin, I like my Unixy tools to be able to drop in a command line and do search and then blah, and I can get some information on it. I think another area where Splunk really excels is they have a really pretty web interface, and the web interface is not my area of expertise. All the all that stuff that really makes people enjoy using it. Yeah, the blingy.
But if you're targeting startups and small companies, do they care?
I think to a certain level.
All right, that's it.
yeah.
Do it.